Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing Cuba Libre. At the end of the last video we had the second propaganda round. And that was kind of advantageous for me, I think, because it brought some money. I'm the government and now I'm at 30 again. Remember, before that round I was completely broke. I was at 0, couldn't do anything, no operations anymore. But now I got quite a bit of cash. In addition, we now have also a lot of support. We have 21 support. Thanks to some civic actions, especially in Oriente, we managed to regain full support from Havana. So I guess it's not looking that bad right now. Basically the only thing that keeps me from fulfilling my victory conditions is the lack of full support in Santiago de Cuba. Okay, let's see if we can get that. So the next card is Defections. Okay, every faction in the conflict suffered from defections, including the syndicate, which lost employees to the insurgency and to the government. More valuable than the manpower was the intelligence gained from these defections. Disillusioned fighters. In a space already occupied by your pieces and those of an enemy, replace 2 of the enemy's guerrillas or cubes with your guerrillas or cubes. Okay. Well, that sucks. The DR can do this event first. And, well, there are a few spaces where that might happen. Let's see if we find some special information about that. Okay, I'm not exactly sure if they're gonna attack here or there. So I think I'm gonna roll for that. So this is 1, 2, 3. Oriente. Santiago de Cuba is 4, 5, 6. Okay, so they are gonna remove. It says police first. So basically that means police, wait a second, no, remove enemy players, police, then troops evenly. So first the police, then a trooper. These go away. And with your guerrillas, then we're gonna place 2 of the Directorio in Santiago de Cuba, which is pretty bad. It also means that the Directorio now controls Santiago de Cuba. As I already said, I will only place these control markers where it's not absolutely obvious who controls the area. So I don't need to place a control marker here or there, but here, you know, or maybe over there, it can be helpful. So, fine. Then it's the syndicate, and they're gonna do an operation. Okay, so this is interesting now because they will not rally. because there is no space where there is a casino and no guerrilla. They will not march to an empty economic center because they are nowhere adjacent to empty economic centers. You might think they might construct because there are more available casinos than cash on the map. But they only do this. Oh no, wait a second. They do this in 2 spaces if resources greater than 35. If this is not the case, and this is not the case right now, they do this only in 1 space, I assume. Okay, so place new closed casinos first where already 1 casino. So they're gonna place a casino, and that will be a closed one in La Habana. Okay, and that costs them $5. Then they do a profit action. Place up to 2 cash with the syndicate guerrillas. First where syndicate has no cash, then where no enemy, then at random. I simply roll a die here because they're well, first of all, we're gonna see one here. That is also without an enemy. But then between these 2, we're gonna roll a die. Number 1 to 3 is Havana. Okay, so we'll see 1 in Havana. Okay, so that was then the end of that turn. And now it says election. Well, this guy looks definitely a little crazy. Okay. So that is number 7. Batista had long resisted the US call for elections, and the overdue election finally took place in November 1958 with Batista's hand-picked successor Andrés Rivero Agüero declared fraudulently the winner. The election was essentially meaningless as Castro had declared a boycott and Batista was not prepared to hand over power. Okay, so I find that a little weird because according to the story we've seen here, Batista is already gone. But okay. So I'm now eligible here first. And I'm gonna do this scheduled thing. Batista bows to US pressure. Set a city to neutral. 8 plus 10. So that's definitely cool because I'm gonna set this city to neutral then. Can remove the opposition here. And I gain a lot of 8 then. So that's really helpful because 8 is definitely the way to gain money. There is no doubt here. And then we see 26th July. They'll do an action. They won't do... Yeah, they will do a terror action, I guess, although I'm not sure about that. Yeah, they will. They're gonna try to sabotage this economic center here. Any spaces with underground guerrillas, one resource per city or province selected. In each selected space, activate one underground guerrilla. Okay. And I think this is going to be only this one space, actually. Fine. Okay. So they're activated. I'm going to place a sabotage marker here. And that will cost them one resource. Kidnap action, not possible. If no targets, no special activity. Okay, end of turn. Let's do the Mafia offensive now. The Syndicate never took an active role militarily in the Cuban Revolution, but there are stories of confrontations between mobsters and guerrillas that ended short of violence. The Syndicate actively recruited servicemen from both the Korean War and World War II, so would have had a reserve of trained men. Now let's see. The Syndicate is actually eligible, so they will hire hitmen. Syndicate may assassinate as if Directorio, but regardless of police. Oh, and by the way, that government momentum here, oops, is discarded. So, here we are. And now we have this one here, Mafia may use assassins, and we're going to place this here in the box for the insurgent capabilities. So that will stay in the game for the rest of the game. And then we're going to see some operation of the Directorio. Okay, the Directorio will do some terror actions, which sucks. First, the active support. So I'm going to use these markers here, these pawns, to mark that. Second, we're active opposition. So that will be here then. Finally, at one other assassination target. First a government base, then any player's base, then other. Okay, where might that be? Target a government base, then any player's base, then a piece to take cash, then an open casino, then a cube. Great. So it will be in Santiago de Cuba. Okay, well that's a little painful here. Okay, so we're gonna activate wait a second, they can only do one assassination. So I'm not sure. No, I think that's fine. I think that's what happens. Even though they will do the assassination attempt in Oriente, they will still do a terror action in Santiago de Cuba. I'm pretty sure about that, because it is a potential assassination target, but that doesn't mean they have to do the assassination in Santiago de Cuba. Okay, so we simply place a terror marker there. Apart from that, it doesn't have an effect because they would they would flip this marker here to neutral or remove a marker. So neutral is their goal with terror, and because it is already neutral, nothing will actually happen here. Then we see a terror marker here, and the active opposition goes to passive opposition. So these guys lose one. And the bad part is here that also the active support goes to passive support. So I lose 2, which sucks. That is pretty bad. And in addition, this is not the end actually. Target a government base. So that will be then the assassination. And I think I simply lose that base. A space, remove any one enemy piece from the space. Yeah. Okay, so that government base goes away. That's really a pain. Okay then. Come, comrades. Fidel insisted that the movement of 26 July did not accept communists, but in reality, many of the guerrillas had been members of the Communist Party and were actively recruited. Okay, so the 26th July is first here. Communist recruits. Place 3 26 July guerrillas anywhere. Okay. So let's see. Is there any priorities here? Any instructions? Nope. Well, I guess we're gonna do this randomly then. Okay, why not? So that is, oh gosh, we only need these 2. A 5 and a 2. Las Villas. Okay, so that means that the first one goes here, which is pretty bad. The second one, that's a 6 and a 4, goes to Oriente, which is also not great. All these high population areas. And the last one then goes, great. That's a 6 and a 2 again to Las Vegas. That sucks. Okay. Not that great. So then it's me. And I guess it's time to do a sweep action. So let's see. Probably here. Probably here. And then I guess here in Santiago de Cuba. Yeah. also think I will do another one in Kamagui before these suckers become too strong. That's pretty painful because it costs me now 12 bucks. That's a lot of money. So I'm at 18. And so let's see. First I'm going to move 3 soldiers or 3 troops here. Okay, then I can activate these 2 guys here. I can activate that one here. In the jungle I need 2 cubes to activate 1 guerrilla. In Oriente I can also activate these 2. And here we can also activate 2 guerrillas. Okay, then we have the option to do an airstrike. Reprisal. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do another airstrike here in Santa Clara. Okay, fine then. So that was the end of that turn. And then we got Sanchez Mosquera. A regular army officer who had some success with counter-insurgency tactics against the 26th July in the Sierra Maestra. So, we see the Directorio triggering the event. Popular colonel wounded. Remove all troops from a mountain space. Okay, well that has no effect. So that means, because there are no troops in a mountain space, but that means, on the other hand, they will then do a operation and no event. Okay, these guys will rally in neutral or passive spaces. Guerrillas to underground in all spaces with all active DR guerrillas, a DR base and a cube. So they're going to rally here. And these guerrillas go to underground then. And they're going to rally here. Spaces with all active DR guerrillas, a DR base and a cube, yeah. Then place spaces where there are at least 3 guerrillas and room. Okay, then we got place guerrillas at all DR bases, then with DR guerrillas, then 1 random. Well, because we already flipped these, we cannot rally twice in the same space. So that means, because we flipped these to active, to underground, we cannot place any guerrillas in these spaces. But we're going to place 1 here as passive support, so we can do that. And we can also place one here where there is passive opposition. So that's with the guerrillas, and then one random. Okay, that's a 2 and a 2. La Habana. So that would be here. Well, this is looking more and more dangerous and colorful down here. Actually, it's looking quite beautiful. That is something I like about these games. It looks really great. So all this costs them now a lot of money, actually. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, $5, and that's it. That's all they have. That's a good thing because well, they don't have the option now to do some terror actions and things like that, because they've spent all their money to bring their troops on the map. That is cool. We still have control here, but just we got 5 cubes. No, we got 6 cubes there. That's okay. Okay, and then we see the syndicate. And they're second eligible, so they're gonna do a operation 2. Okay, the syndicate, they're gonna do another construct action. So because they already have constructed casinos everywhere where there is already a single casino, so now we have in all spaces 2 casinos here, and there is no other syndicate controlled space, so that means they can now or must now construct their casinos in government controlled spaces. That is also allowed for the syndicate. So basically there are now 4 government controlled spaces. I say we use the chart to determine where that will happen. So that is a 1 and a 4. Matanzas, this is not government controlled, but Las Villas is. So the casino will, the syndicate will place a closed casino in Las Villas. That cost them $5. And then they will do a profit action again. Place up to 2 cash with syndicate guerrillas. First where syndicate has no cash, then with no enemy, then at random. Okay. So I guess it will happen randomly, because here they already do have cash. Here is an enemy, and this is basically it. I mean, only these areas are possible. Okay, the syndicate ended up placing a marker in Pinar del Rio. So this guy has now 2 markers, and another one here in La Habana. So again, we come to the next turn. So this is now the Rebel Air Force. That is funny. I didn't expect them to have an air force. Oh, and we see another propaganda. So that's interesting. Luckily, we are eligible here, and that's a good thing. First, the 26th of July will trigger the event. Let's see what that is. 44. The resourcefulness of the 26th July movement is well demonstrated by the acquisition of a number of aircraft which were used by the insurgents in support of ground operations and to harass the Cuban Army Air Force. So, a 26th July or the other guerrilla, active or not, free ambushes government forces, remove bases first. Okay, well, there are no bases, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's basically the same written here. Ambush in a space with a government base if possible. Okay, so I guess instead I'm simply gonna roll where that will happen. What exactly does that mean, by the way? The attack activates one underground guerrilla only and automatically succeeds. Place a 26th July guerrilla. Okay. Active or not? Oh, great. So, it could be in Las Villas. Let's hope that is not the case. Yeah. Or it could be in Oriente. It's also not great, but that would be probably better. So, Las Villas is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, of course. Yeah, okay, it's in Las Villas. Which kind of sucks. Because that allows them then to place an additional guerrilla here. But okay, we gotta accept that somehow. The bad thing is also we don't have any more control here. Well, whatever. So, as cube goes away, we place that guy here. And yeah, this is it then. And now I can do an action. Still got a lot of money left, or quite a bit of money. The interesting point is now, it probably makes sense to spend a lot of money, because if we don't do so, well, I think we won't have more than 49 bucks, although it is possible. We will gain an 8.35 plus a few of these, so we get about 40 bucks, maybe even more. So that means we can easily spend about 10 bucks. So let's see what we will do. We might do a train operation, that is possible, it makes sense. A sweep operation is completely useless, because in the next turn, during the propaganda turn, the underground will go to the guerrillas will go to underground anyway. So that makes no sense. But assault is possible. Assault might be an option. Maybe to get rid of these suckers here. That's not a bad idea. On the other hand, we can only do an assault operation in Oriente, and that would be it then. So maybe this is not such a great idea. On the other hand, we could train, we could establish a base here, but that means then we would still be in control of this area, although one there would be one piece less. But I think that's not a bad idea. We might establish a base in Oriente. Yeah, I think it makes sense to do this. Then do some training operations, Santiago de Cuba, to regain control of that city. That's important, I guess. So then I can do some civic action in the next propaganda round there. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So, let's see. Wait a second. At each selected city or government-based department, place up to few cubes. Okay. So first, we're going to do it here. Here. And... maybe one here. Camagüey. I think this is fine then. I wonder if I should do it in Havana, but I think that's not necessary. So, I mean, we can redeploy in the next turn anyway, so Camagüey is definitely, well, we can do it. We can bring some into play, why not? So, it doesn't make any sense. We don't have to do it in Camagüey. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to simply pay $8 then. On the other hand, I will also train in Camagüey because I cannot place any troops here. And there are 6 left in the available government forces. So I got nothing to lose here, I guess. We are at 9. So I'm going to place, let's say, 2 troops in here. And, oops, sorry for that. 3 police. And a troop here in Santiago de Cuba. So now I actually control this space. Here we are. That's cool. Okay, and yeah, this is... Then I'm going to replace 2 of these guys with a base, which is probably a good idea. Damn, I wonder... I could do that. Okay, I think I'm going to also... That's a great idea, I think. I think I'm going to also do some training action in Las Villas. And then replace these 2 cubes also with a base. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. So I pay $3 more and replace these cubes also with a base. So now I got a base in Las Villas too. And I guess that is definitely useful. Okay, fine. So the board is now pretty crowded actually, but I like that. And well, I still can do a special operation actually. And I wonder what that might be. I'm thinking about an idea would be maybe, well, I could do this reprisal, can I? Yeah, that's an interesting option. To get rid of this sucker here in Kamaguye. And that could allow me then to do a civic action there in the next turn. Ah, that's interesting. On the other hand, maybe it's not such a great idea to place too many resources, to waste too many resources on too many different provinces. You know, maybe I should focus on just a few provinces, and that might be Las Villas, and here Oriente, and just use these troops here to destroy some of the bases here, and that's it then. Maybe that's a better idea, but I'm not sure about that. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do this reprisal action. That is not possible because it has to be a government-controlled space, and Kamagui is no government-controlled space. I forgot about that. So that doesn't help in any way. Okay. Then I guess I'm going to do an airstrike again. Yeah. I think I will simply destroy this sucker here in Las Villas, and this is it then. Okay. Yeah, fine. So, and that is then the end of that turn, and we come now to the propaganda round. Okay, so let's see first the victory conditions. Well, definitely not the case. The syndicate still has only 5 open casinos. The DR, they control right now no area, and so they have only 3 bases. This is it. So that goes down actually 1 point. And the opposition, let's see, well, that's a 2 here, 3. They are at 5. They somehow lost 2 spaces actually. They lost 2. Okay, I forgot to handle that. So basically they're all doing pretty bad. I'm actually pretty close here with a total support of 19. That's pretty good. And I only need control of Santiago de Cuba, and then I would fulfill, or active support of Santiago de Cuba, and then I would fulfill all my victory conditions. Which doesn't mean I have won yet, but it would be a good start. I just have to make it then to the final propaganda card. Okay, so now let's do the resources step. Sabotage. Okay, we lose these here 2 resources, but that isn't so bad. So we gain 8 for these 2 economic centers here, that one and that one up here. Now that's 6 basically, of course. 3 plus 3 is 6. And in addition, we gain the 8, and that is cool. So that gives me then 40 bucks. That is absolutely amazing, and we need this for the last run. Okay, so 40, that gives us then 46. So then we come to the, just a second. Yeah, here we are. Here we have another player 8. So, wait a second, this is not true. Yes, it is. Okay. 26 to lie at the numbers of its bases, so they only have 2. Directorio, at the number of spaces it had pieces. Well, that isn't so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Syndicate. At the top of each city and econ, the syndicate guerrillas outnumber police. Well, that would be here. This in this economic center. This is the case. So that means that gives them 3 bucks plus twice the number of open casinos. Okay, they got 5 open casinos, so that's 10 plus 3, so that's 13 then. Brings them to 38. Well, that is also a lot of money. Okay. Skim. Well, that is the case again in Havana. I am the controlling faction here. So that means they have to transfer 2 resources to me. So they lose 2, I gain 2, and now I'm nearly at a maximum of 49. I got 48 resources, which is absolutely great. Cash. Any factions with cash receive 6 resources per marker or replace it with a base. And this is now actually, again, I have to check that. Well, they cannot. Okay, they cannot open a casino here, nor here, nor here. So that means they will gain money for these. And actually, I'm not even sure they can get as much money as they have cash. That's an interesting point. So that would basically they would gain 24 bucks, but that isn't possible. So they are at 49, which that's impressive. I wonder if they open maybe a casino instead. Might make sense. Well, I guess that's simply what happens. They don't open any closed casinos with the cash, simply because the casinos will open anyway. So what happens is, I guess, they go to 49 and the cash goes back here up. But I'm not, I think that's what happens. Let's move on. Okay, the cool thing is now that the support... Wait a second. I think I forgot to do the civic action. Am I allowed to do this now? It's not... No, it happens later on. The civic action happens after the US alliance check. But still, I think I got support of 19, but I gotta check that now. That is indeed true. I got a support of 19. And now this is pretty cool, because that means if total support is 18 or less, degrade US alliance down 1 box and drop 8 minus 10. Well, that will not happen now. That is amazing. So it stays at reluctant, and I'm not getting embargoed because I got the support of my people. That is great. And that is really very helpful. Civic action. Now I can do the civic action. Okay. We can do a civic action here in Oriente, because we got control here and we got police and troops. So first I'm gonna pay $4 to remove the terror, and then I'm gonna pay $4 to flip this to neutral. So that means I gotta pay $8 for that. But in return, or not to neutral, but to active support, but then I can add 2 to total support. And then I'm gonna pay $12 to gain active support in Santiago de Cuba. First I gotta pay 4 to remove the terror marker, and then 8 to gain active support there. That is terribly expensive, but I'm afraid I have to do it anyway. That is really painful. That brings me down to $18. I hope this was not a bad idea. Maybe I should not have spent the money to buy the active support here, but it was just so tempting to do so. I hope I got enough money left for the remainder of the game. Anyway, this gives us now 2 more support. So I got a total support of 24, which is pretty good, I guess. Then we will see the agitation, and this will happen here. So they're going to spend 1. No, they got to spend 2, because they also have to remove a terror marker. And that gives them an additional position then here. The expat backing. Well, okay. I'm pretty sure they're gonna... Yeah, they will actually back here in Camagüey. They will rally in Camagüey. So that allows them then to place 3 guerrillas here, population plus bases, and that then makes this an controlled province by the DR. Okay. Then we can do the redeployment. Okay, so during the redeploy phase, what I did was I had to remove my troops of Camagüey, And actually I decided not to place any police in there. I'm going to give up for that province. But I moved troops here to Las Villas, where I have now a base, so I can do that. I placed there 4 instead. Another guerrilla will show up here. I would still be able to kill them both in one turn in the mountains. Here I got 8 cubes and I have 4 police, which is good because it it prevents the assassination attempt from the DR. Same here, we got here 4 police, we got 6 cubes overall, so we definitely control this city. It's not looking bad here. Camagüey, we also have 3 units, so I hope that's enough for now. And then we only come to the reset phase, so that means we're all eligible now. Remove terror, sabotage, markers. Okay. Place any played government momentum cards. That's not the case. Flip all guerrillas to underground. Well, that's something we will see here. And here. And of course here. And all casinos to open. Okay, so now this might bring us to a problem, because that means now that this guy has actually 7 open casinos. So that means if he manages to open 1 more casino, he would fulfill the victory condition, the syndicate. So we better close a few. Okay. And this is it for now. Fine, so I'm going to load this up. Was an interesting turn, I guess. It may now take a while before we see the next propaganda card, but of course we never know. So I'm afraid I will get short of money, but it might still be good enough to do a few sweep actions and then maybe a few assault actions. Overall I can do exactly 6 actions with the money I have. So let's hope for the best here. Right now, it's looking pretty good. So, hope to see you in my next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Until then, bye.